Brian, it looks like you brought a segment with you this week.
All right.
So I spent a ridiculous amount of time actually putting this segment together once I committed to the pod and got home. So this actually was sparked by the comment Lauren made that I said, who was just trying to rub my nose in how well she did and how poorly I did, where she said, that has to be the worst bad QB performance ever. And I made some comment like, I don't fucking know, Lauren, I don't want to talk about it right now. But I thought, certainly someone had to have had a worse game than that. Fitzpatrick could not have had the worst game ever. So
So you went through and checked.
I went digging through the annals of bad quarterback history.
Let's see if we've got any comments, by the way.
I just checked. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Lauren was a big fan of the SpongeBob meme. She said it was gold.
Okay, good. But that's not a new meme, by the way. That was from last year.
But I mean, it's worth bringing back up. It doesn't get old.
Very good. So I actually dug back through, and I wanted to just kind of rehash some terrible memories of people having Sundays, Mondays, or Thursdays like I did yesterday. So I actually painstakingly went through the history week by week of every past season, because that's all gets kept on Yahoo.
Wow.
But because we change our rosters every week, I then had to see lowest 1 week score of the entire season, then find the manager, then count their transactions to find who they had on that week.
Man.
And then go to NFL.com to look up the box scores and recalculate all the shit I found.
Are you serious?
So I went through it.
That's
for
a
this
ton of
team.
work.
This is basically like how Facebook started.
Right. But what I wanted to show was basically just how many times people get burned by what looks like a great pick I had. Because I really do think that's the fun part of this league. Like in regular fantasy, you can get burned and get a 1 instead of a 12. But to just drop a negative 30 burger on your season total, it's really deadly. So I don't know who my PowerPoint man is.
I can hit you to the next
Okay.
slide.
So first one, 2017, week 3, Case Keenum, who we just talked about. This was selected by John, who even after this terrible week still made it all the way back to 4th place out of 12. So I was trying to give myself a little pep talk there. It's not over yet. So week 3, he went out, ended up defeating Tampa Bay 34-17. So not a great squad, and Minnesota was good. But Case Keenum, like you said, unproven, kind of boring guy. And he had just come in for Sam Bradford either that week or the week before to take over. So what you would consider a relatively safe bet.
Right.
Balls out, negative 22.5 fantasy points, 25 for 33, 369, 3 touchdowns, no picks, a 142 passer rating. So yeah, just that was the most awful one of that entire season. That was the lowest one game
really?
Score
Of the whole season.
Yeah.
And you beat that.
Yeah, I beat that by a good amount. And I think the negatives get lower or higher from here. However you want to think about it.
Oh man.
So that was 2017. So the most recent season, 2016, is in here as well. So Trevor Seaman, or whoever the nickname was that time. This was Austin. So Austin didn't have a great run in 2016, as we recall. He ended up in 5th place out of 10 teams. But yeah, Trevor Seaman here went out. He actually came and kicked Cincinnati's ass, which that tasted even sweeter getting to read that recap, because I know I'm going to deal with a lot of Cincinnati homerism in the A bracket of wagering this season. So knowing that Austin was all in on that pick to get burned made me feel a little bit better inside. So
well, and at that time, week 3, 2016, there was a lot more optimism in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
Very quickly after that, the optimism really dropped off, and it hasn't recovered since then. So that's an interesting time.
I've also figured out how to play this game since then.
Right.
Oh,
Austin's developed a better
Austin's
strategy.
a new man.
But yeah, so again, more reasons why the pick made sense. Just replacing Peyton fucking Manning after their Super Bowl. So a brand new guy, essentially a rookie. First start on the road against what we thought was a good defense. And then crushed it. 4 TDs, no interceptions, 132 passer rating. So that one hurt Austin a bit in 2016.
Poor Bengals.
So the lesson right now is picking guys that are replacing other guys it hasn't paid off.
So
It
far,
always.
I mean, the past 3 years, that's been the worst thing you can do. 15, is a familiar name in this
there
category.
he
So
is.
Miss Taylor Hammonds went with Marcus Mariota from Tennessee. She ended up in 10th place out of 10 teams.
That was back in the 10-team days.
Yeah, she got comfortable down there in the gutters of bad QB lore. But yeah, he showed up rookie season. Him again being a mobile quarterback, similar to the Deshaun Watson conversation, sprained his knee. This was his first game back going against a good team in the Saints, and they got in a shootout. This actually went into overtime. He threw the game-winning touchdown pass, ended up with 4 touchdowns, no picks, almost 400 yards. So that one will hurt quite a bit.
And that must have been Mariota's first or rookie year. I mean,
Yeah,
It
that was
was,
his
yeah.
rookie season there. In
it
15.
says it right there. Okay.
And yeah, still early week 9, so maybe we hadn't collected quite enough data to make good decisions, or maybe Taylor had already tuned out by the time we were in week 9.
Yeah, it could have been an auto pick.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I didn't want to scroll all the way back in the group. I wasn't that
Yeah.
committed. So I was 15, and then our inaugural season, Taylor again. So, like I said, it took her a while to get her feet wet, so she ended up in 8th place that year after week 6, picking Derek Carr, another rookie who now has, sprung into someone who's a little bit more reliable. Went out to San Diego, someone who did outscore them, so this was actually the only QB that ended up losing. But still managed to get the job done for Taylor.
Let's hope Aaron can get -14 tonight with
That's
Derek
right.
Carr.
Yeah,
That's
and then
what I'm
he's given Taylor a nice little
Yep.
thumbs down signal. This is where your standings are going.
Well,
Right
this
down
is
here into the gutter.
this is a thumbs down for 2014, and this is a thumbs down for 2015.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
She gets so frustrated every single week. This year she looked at me and said, "I just want to like this league once.
Right.
I just want."
once. It's been nothing but pain since I started. So that was my quick recap there. None of us obviously remember those games, but I thought it would be fun to rehash other people's pain.
I love it.
So no higher than a 4th place finish. That was
Nobody
the highest.
beat 4th place after having the worst game of the year. But
Do you think you'll beat 4th place after having
it's still my year.
a 34?
It's still my year. There was too much support for it to not be my year. So yeah, it's a long season. As you'll see, these people made mistakes well after week 1, sometimes waiting all the way until week 3 or 6. So I've got 16 weeks to recover is really how I look at
That's
it.
true. It's week 1.
Yeah, it's early.
Can't overreact.
It's
Yeah.
early.
It's my quarterback.